After the cold, dark months of winter, the wheel of the year turns towards the spring equinox. Now we associate spring with flowers and bunny rabbits and brightly painted eggs, and these symbols are rooted in ancient spiritual beliefs. The spring equinox is a powerful and magical time. So to learn more and to discover some practical ways to celebrate this festival, just boop that like button and keep watching. Hiya lovely! In this video, I'm going to be touching briefly on the origins of the spring equinox. Next, I'll explain the spiritual themes of this particular festival. And finally, I'll be sharing some practical ideas for how you can celebrate the spring equinox. I've put the timestamps down below, so if you want to skip ahead or skip back, then you can do that. So first, let's start with the origins. In terms of the wheel of the year, the spring equinox is a quarter point. And I explain all about the wheel of the year and quarter points and cross-quarter festivals in this particular video, and I'll drop a link down below. But the spring equinox is the official start of spring and the spring season. It's one of two equinoxes, the other one being the autumn equinox. And an equinox is a time when day and night are of equal length. Now, if you find this particular chart helpful, there's a link to a download in the description box below as well. As you can see from the chart, it's a time associated with rabbits or hares and brightly painted eggs. These symbols were associated with Ostara, who was the goddess of the spring and the dawn. Ostara was believed to shapeshift into a hare, and so that's where the connection between hares and springtime originated from. And eggs are a symbol of fertility, and as this is a particularly fertile time of year, that's where the association between spring and eggs originates from too. Now, the ancient Celts considered the spring equinox to be a particularly powerful and magical time. And in fact, there's a 5,000-year-old megalithic cairn in Loughcrew in Ireland. And at the time of the spring equinox, the dawn actually illuminates the chamber beautifully and is perfectly aligned and illuminates the entire corridor and the chamber of the cairn too. The spring equinox was celebrated by the ancient Celts by lighting fires at dawn to greet the sun and to greet the beginning of spring, and also to ask the goddess to bless the fertility of the crops for the year ahead. So they're the origins of the spring equinox. Let's move on to the themes. As it's a time when day and night are of equal length, one of the main spiritual themes of the equinox is balance. It's the balance between day and night, the balance between dark and light, the balance between male and female, inner reflection and outer expression, and a balance of the unconscious and the conscious. In fact, a balance between anything that is significant to you. It's a time to reflect on balance in our own lives and also identify any areas of our lives that might feel out of balance. And maybe also to consider what we need to do or what we need to release to restore a greater sense of balance in our own lives. Another theme of the spring equinox that we can draw from the natural world is awakening. It's a time when the sap is rising in the trees. It's a time when the flowers begin to bloom and colour returns to the world around us. And so reawakening is another major spiritual theme. Closely related to this is the theme of fertility, because the earth's natural abundance and natural state of fertility is readily available all around us as the birds are building their nests and as they're laying eggs and things. And so fertility is another theme. And we draw upon these themes in the way that we choose to celebrate. There are so many beautiful ways to celebrate the spring equinox. And as I just shared these ideas, pay attention to which ones resonate with you and maybe just run with those. So the first suggestion is to really draw on that theme of balance and reflect on your own life to identify any areas that may be out of balance. So questions to ask yourself, for example, are: is there a balance between giving and receiving in your relationships? Is there balance between work and rest? Is there balance between your mental wellness and your physical wellness? Is there balance in your home even? Does it feel clear, or does it feel complicated and cluttered? So is there balance within your home? Because spring is the perfect time to make plans and to take action to restore a greater sense of balance. The spring equinox is a great time to create space and to really cleanse and renew the energy within your home. And so spring cleaning is a thing. You might also want to take this opportunity to spruce up your home altar as well, and maybe clear away any symbols of the winter and restore them with symbols of spring. So you may want to put fresh flowers on your altar, for example. You may also want to paint eggs. That's a really beautiful way to honour the fertility of spring. And one of the most beautiful ways, I think, to honour spring is simply to walk in nature and notice the signs that spring is here, and notice the signs of new life all around us. You may also want to take a leaf out of the book of the ancient Celts and rise at dawn to greet the sun, or even create a fire to celebrate the strengthening of the sun and the return of the light. Now, these are just a few suggestions, so I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how you celebrate the spring equinox. What are your favourite ways to embrace the spring? Drop them in the comments below, and I'll really look forward to reading them. The spring equinox is ultimately a hopeful time. It's a time of balance, a time of reawakening, and a time of fertility. If you found this video helpful, then consider subscribing, and it'll be my pleasure to walk beside you in your spiritual journey. If you'd like to learn more about the Wheel of the Year, then check out one of these videos next. Spring equinox blessings, sweet souls. I'll see you in the next video.